And sitting here with me right now, I have a Buck Jr. How are you?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. And you are Buck Jr. Your band is Buck Jr., but you're Buck Jr.?
I am Buck Jr., yes.
That's what you want me to call you?
When I play solo, I play as Buck Jr., but we also play with the full band as Buck Jr. as well. So just Buck Jr.'s, yeah.
Because I'm not very good with names, so if you throw in, want me to call you something else, I could get very confused at this point.
No worries.
So how have you been?
Yeah, really well. Actually, great. We've been playing a lot of music, working on a lot of new material, which is really exciting, with the addition of a new bass player and a new drummer earlier in the year. After our Promises EP release, we've taken a bit of a new direction and we're definitely expanding our sound, which is really exciting for us.
I did actually meet you at a gig in Melbourne a few months ago. Was that for the release of the EP then, or had you
it was funny actually. I'd booked that show months before the show, and it just sort of worked out that was at the end of the leg of shows that I was doing for that EP. So yeah, we did. Right. It did make it on that list of venues. So I was just playing support for that, but it was a nice show to do a bit more promotion, which was great. Yeah,
it was a good night. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. It was a good night.
Well, of course, we're Voice FM are based in Ballarat, and you're from Daylesford, which is just down the road.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm living in Daylesford, but the other three members, when we do play as a band collaborative, they all live in Ballarat. So predominantly, we're a Ballarat-based band. It's just me that lives a bit further out in the sticks. Yeah.
Well, you've got some gigs and that coming up, but first thing I want to ask you about is I saw something on Facebook with some open mic thing that you were running that was a little bit different to normal.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
I'd love to. So I just bought a cafe with my mum in Daylesford, in Hepburn Springs.
All right.
And we've just opened for nights, and we're starting to do live music Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. But because Daylesford's such a small town, it's got such a saturated market of musicians. There's so many great performers over there.
A lot of creative people.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Yep. So I've found that trying to get gigs, especially over there, even the surrounding areas, Kyneton, Castlemaine, Ballarat, it's really hard to get a show. You've got so many people fighting for the same stages and even the same grants. Everyone's going for the same grants and all that sort of stuff. So my idea, Monday nights now in the cafe, we're having a bit of I have branded it as musician speed dating, but it's more about networking with musicians in the local area and having musicians meet musicians who they wouldn't normally meet in their normal social circles. And I want to really build a network base and a collaborative of those musicians, because a lot of people that I know, and myself in particular, I get palmed a lot of work that I can't take on, whether it be for weddings or whatever. As an original artist, you get asked to play covers at weddings, and it's not what I do. Yeah. So I'd love to palm that off to people who I know will do a good job, who are also local. And I think that that's really important for a small community to have. Just build that network, and we can all share a bit of work and share the stages.
Well, I know there is money to be made doing covers, and sometimes you've got to stick with your integrity and say, no, I'm an original artist, and
Absolutely.
If you want to hire me for that, then do.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I know a lot of original artists do covers to make a living sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to take that work on just to
But others buy cafes.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
How's that going? And you haven't actually even told anyone the name of the cafe yet.
No, it's called Blue Bean. We took over a place called the Red Star in Hepburn Springs. So we've rebranded. We've called it Blue Bean. And we've done a lot of work on the inside and outside. And we're renovating the courtyard at the moment, which is really exciting. And it's going to be great to see some local live music in the space.
Awesome. I think it might be actually time for us to let people hear one of your tracks.
Sounds good.
Should we get one off the EP? The
new
EP?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's probably better that we do.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So which one do you want to hear off the EP?
Well, it is the Promises EP. So if we do Promises, it's the only full band track on the EP. There's 3 acoustic tracks on it.
All right.
So yeah.
Are you working on something new with the band? Because you mentioned before that you've just gotten a new drummer.
Yeah, new drummer, new bass player. So Dan and Ash, both local boys, I met working over here, and they have jumped on board, and we're really happy with the way that things are shaping up and how we're all gelling together as musicians, and everyone's equally excited about all of the gigs and releases that we're looking at. We are looking at doing an out-of-studio recording. We're thinking of using the cafe. It's a really nice space, so after hours we'll pull our equipment together and try and do something with it. But we've got so many tracks we're working on at the moment, which is why things like Bendigo Blues and Roots Festival, which we're playing in a couple of weeks, is really exciting for us to try out our new sound on a live forum, which is great. Yeah,
which we will talk about that, but we will listen to the song first. So this is Buck Jr. and Promises, and you're with Kat and Buck on Collision on Voice FM, and we'll be back very soon.
We just keep swimming up to our necks in air.
And you are back on Collision with Kat and Buck, and that was Buck Jr. with Promises off the EP Promises.
Released earlier this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, well, you actually mentioned you're touring at the moment. You've got a little bit of a tour happening. What's that for?
Like I was talking about before, I'm not sure if it was on air or off air, but we were talking about recording in the space.
No, we talked about recording in the space.
Yeah, for sure. So we're really excited. We've got about 13 tracks set for this new album. It's going to take a little bit of a different, I guess, direction musically to our previous releases, having a bit of a new energy and new sort of diversity in sound and skill levels in the band. It's one of the things we're most excited to be working on, is working collaboratively in writing the songs. Previously, it's been me writing the songs or having an idea and taking it to the boys and then fleshing it out, or coming to them with a finished song and then just having them basically play whatever to it. Yeah, exactly. So now we're trying to write more collaboratively, and it's coming along really nicely. We're really happy with it. And
well, you said you've got about 13 songs, so how long have you guys been actually writing together then?
I think Dan, our bass player, he came on board around 10 months ago, and Ash has been on board for about 6 to 8 months. Not very long at all. So, but we've been trying to jam as often as we possibly can, get together, and I think our personalities all sit together really well, and that really comes across in the music. We're really comfortable playing and hanging out socially with each other, so it's just that real comfort that comes through in the sound, if that makes sense. It's really nice. So everything's really warm and the energy's really high, and still, as I've always said with Buck Jr., playing full band shows live, it's really hard to capture that energy in a studio environment, and always has been, especially for me. I just really feed off the energy of a live performance when I play live. So we're really hoping to be able to capture a bit more of that working outside of a studio environment, being able to work on our own timelines, and I think that'll be a lot easier for us.
Well, you said you were going to maybe, close after hours at the cafe, set up to record in there. Are you going to be inviting your friends and that, so that you have got somewhat of an audience to get that feel, or are you going to...
I think so, yeah. It's going to be a lot of trial and error for that, and because we're open 7 days a week and 4 nights, so there's not a lot of after hours to work with. No. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But as soon as we can get that release done, we will be touring for that again. So I think we're going to promote Promises a little bit more as a band, as most of the leg of the tour earlier in the year for it was me playing solo shows. So it's going to be really nice to be able to play Promises, the track, as a full band and be able to market it that way. And then with the arrival of the new release, we'll move that sort of into the leg of shows that we're booking at the moment.
And will that be your debut album?
With the new guys, it will be, and we are looking at branding the guys in the band, so it will be Buck Jr. and the or
you don't mean
Buck
you're going to get
Jr..
a hot iron and
Yeah, yes, yeah. I should. I own them. But yeah, so there will be a bit of rebranding, and therefore it'll be, I guess, a debut album for us in that sense. But we do have Fractured, which was recorded in 2011, and then we had Come Around, which was recorded in 2013. So,
right.
yeah.
Is there any chance you're going to look at like redoing some of those original tracks for the album?
I think we won't, because we made a conscious decision when we got the guys on board that we would only work on new material, which is really exciting for us as well. We went through trial stage where we had some drummers that we were looking at working with, and we had some new bass players that we were working with, and that was over about a 6-month period. And over that 6-month period, I'd written so many songs. And Cal and I, Cal's been on board since Fractured, since the beginning. He's our guitarist, Cal Dark, and Cal and I don't know how it was for him, but I got sick of playing the old songs because we were just hammering them out and going over and over and over them with all of these new musicians who we were trialing. And once we found Ash and Dan and were happy with the sound that we were making, we decided to just work on new material.
So, well, you did mention that, you sometimes work as a band, sometimes solo, and that you did a lot of the last EP tour as a solo artist.
Yep.
And now you're writing material as a band.
Yep.
I'm going to assume that with this songwriting that you do, you're still going to be working on solo Buck Jr. music.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm finding creatively a real kick out of being able to play or write a song for the band and play with the band, but then really be able to change the entire dynamic by playing it just acoustically. We were talking before about how I don't really play a lot of weddings and stuff, but I am playing a couple of friends' weddings coming up, and there are a few songs that they've asked me to play. And
so it'll be originals with just a couple of their favourites.
Yeah, and the songs, and the songs that I've been asked to learn, I've told them that I'd like to play them in my own style. So I've been really enjoying learning some songs and then really changing up the sound to suit my style. And I think we're sort of doing that with the new songs that we're writing collaboratively as a band.
Yeah. I should actually tell people, because I haven't done that yet, where to find you.
Yeah.
You are facebook.com/Buck Jr. Sound, and that's just JR. It's not the word junior. It's Buck JR Sound.
And a lot of people write JNR as well. It's just JR.
Yeah, just JR. Buck Jr. You don't have a website, but you are Buck JR.
Yes.
Buck Jr. on Bandcamp as well.
Yep.
And so you got Reverb, you've got everything.
Yeah, and Reverb I think we use predominantly as an upcoming show's sort of promotional tool. Because that shares automatically to Facebook, which is really great for us who don't have a lot of time on our hands.
That's when you remember to update it.
That's right, yeah, absolutely.
Which you're about to do.
Yeah.
Because, of course, this tour, the big show is the Bendigo Blues
and Roots Fest, yeah. So
when's that happening?
We're playing at the Metropolitan Hotel, 10:30 to 11:30 p.m., in Bendigo on November the 6th, which is a Friday night.
Right.
Yep.
November the 6th.
That's right.
And so the rest of the tour is ahead of that.
It'll be after that. That's going to kick us off. So we're just going to kick it off with a bang.
Well, you're going to have to be like releasing a new single or something as an excuse, aren't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're working pretty hard on a bit of recording and trying to find out which track we want to promote for this leg of the tour. I think we want to find a song that really tells people who we are now as the band.
Well, you don't actually have the whole band stashed in that case over there, but you do have your guitar, and we can get you to do an acoustic for us and show us a little bit about what Buck Jr.'s about.
For sure. So, I've chosen a couple of tracks to play for you today. I've tried to keep it as diverse as I possibly could to show people how different the songs that we're playing are. So the first track I'm playing for you is one of the acoustic tracks off the Promises EP, one of the 3 acoustic tracks, and it's a song that I wrote for my son when he was born, and he was a year old yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, how awesome. That's why you're smiling so much.
Absolutely.
That and because you're on Collusion.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Happy to be here.
Well, do you want to grab your guitar then and...
Sure, I'd love to.
Broke my heart with happiness just to see you smile. In a world where nothing's certain, I'll just watch through aging eyes. Haven't yet decided what you'll be. I haven't made my mind. But I'm sure it's something I could never think of with your tiny hands in mine. Nothing in my life before has ever felt so big. Yet small enough to wrap up warm and rest upon my fist. And I know I'm not the first, and I shall not be the second, or the last to say I knew this day would come, but I never would be ready.
That was beautiful. Thank you very much. Straight from the heart. And I'm sure that's something actually your son's going to really treasure when he grows up. What's his name?
Harrison, his name is.
Harrison, that's a lovely name. And the name of the track was?
It's called Nothing's Certain. It's the second track off the EP.
And if you've just tuned in and flicking around the channels and heard that beautiful sound, that is Buck Jr. And you are Buck Jr. on Facebook. Buck Jr. Sound, actually, and it's Junior with a J-R.
That's right.
It's not the full word. And you can Google Buck, B-U-C-K, Junior, J-R.
Yep.
And you've got your Bandcamp and your Reverb, and you've even got a Triple J page.
Yeah, we're on Unearthed. We haven't updated much on there since Promises.
February.
Yeah.
But then you haven't recorded much since then.
No, well, that's very true. We are going to be putting all of our summer season dates up on our Reverb Nation page in the next couple of weeks. We're just locking in all of our dates for the leg of the trip, and we're also pretty active on Twitter as well. Buck_JR_music at Twitter.
And so, well, what other we mentioned the Bendigo Blues and
Roots Festival. Yep. Yep.
What other dates have you got locked in at this point that you want to tell people about?
At the moment, we have no solid... Oh, we do have dates. I'm not allowed to talk about them.
All
yet.
right,
We've
so
got
you're
things
putting
in
a
the
tour
works.
together and you're
Yeah.
going to announce it all at once.
Yeah, we will. So there'll be a poster made for it. We're hoping to have the single done ready for the shows that we'll be doing after the Bendigo Blues and Roots Festival.
Mm-hmm.
If we can have it available for that night, we absolutely will, and throw it out into the audience. And we will be playing as many shows as we possibly can until February, hopefully some interstate as well.
And with the Bendigo Blues and Roots Festival, have you done that before?
No, we haven't. The only festival that we've played was Nightjar Festival in Geelong earlier this year, which we had an absolute blast at. It was a brilliant audience and we just had a really, really good time. And that was pretty much the middle of the Promises EP launch tour, so that was really great for us. So we're really looking forward to jumping back on a big stage and really capturing a large audience again.
So you like even looking at doing things like the Queenscliff Music Festival and that next year?
Definitely, yeah. We're been talking to someone who does a lot of bookings for people in my area. I live over in Dalesford, and she does a lot of bookings for some other artists and does all of their festival applications. So being as time poor as we usually are, it's nice to know that we've got someone reliable on side to help push us into that festival circuit. We'd love to be playing a lot more festivals.
Yeah, awesome. And because I think I saw the other day that the Queenscliff Music Festival applications are open, so you'll have to get onto her about that quickly.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think, I'm not sure, is there something that you want to talk about that we haven't actually gotten around
We've covered
to?
a lot, really. We're just really excited to start recording this new album. We'll get a single on the way, and just really looking forward to, for those people who have been with Buck Jr. for the last 5 or 6 years from the start and seen our sound progressed, I'm really excited to get some feedback on the new direction that we've decided to take the sound. We've really decided to strip back a few of the bigger, more anthemic songs and sort of really punch out a few more of the I guess more punchier songs, and just working on totally different sounds, which is really exciting for us.
So having that new energy on stage is making you want to actually rock out more on stage.
Definitely, yeah. We'll always have that live energy, and a lot of people who come and see us live will always say that they love to come and see us live, and the reason for that is because there's an energy that we put forward through our music and our sound that really doesn't get captured in those recordings. So I guess that's a bonus for us. People want to come and see us every time we play in the area, and it's really nice to get that feedback after a show.
And, well, like, of course, doing an acoustic track doesn't give you the punch that you get with a full band either.
Definitely, yeah.
But
so
you are going to do another track for us, and it is one that is a little bit punchier.
Yeah, so this is one of the new tracks that we've been working on. We haven't played it live to a large audience. We did have a show in Dalesford a few weeks ago that we trialled it at, and we're really happy with it. It's a good indication of some of the new sound that I was talking about and the new direction that the band's taking the sound. So I'm keen to see what people think of it. But This
Awesome.
one's called Covering Lies with Lies.
And you are going to get to play it in Bendigo in front of a large
We are,
audience
yes,
very soon.
and play it we will.
And if people around Bendigo are listening, this is a little taste of, a sample of what you're going to get, because it's going to be rocked up a lot more with drums
Definitely,
and bass.
full
and,
band, yep.
Yeah, electric guitars. Do you
Electric
use
guitar.
Yep.
I use. We sort of pride ourselves on being predominantly acoustically driven, but yeah, we've got a pretty great guitarist who we just let him.
So
do
you have an
whatever he wants.
acoustic and an electric guitar on stage.
Yeah, so I play acoustic. I play rhythm, and we've got Cal Dark who plays all of our lead guitar and does all the nice little fills and some pretty punchy solos.
Awesome. Something a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this track is called?
This one is Covering Lies with Lies.
Thank you.
impossible for someone to consciously make those decisions and do what you've done and say that I'm in the wrong. And you thought you had everybody fooled, but truth has been known to be found. There's some smart people still around. Now the more shoulders you cry on, the older it gets, and the more your lies become harder to accept, and the less people tend to forgive and forget. And you say you miss everything that you had, and you feel bad about that. Well, there was a lot of choices that you could have chose, but you went and chose the one that meant you stabbed your best friend in the back. You can't cover up lies with more lies. And you thought you had everybody fooled, but truth has been known to be found. There's some smart people still around. And the more shoulders you cry on, the older it gets, and the more your lies become harder to accept, and the less people tend to forgive and forget. And the more shoulders you cry on, the older it gets, and the more your lies become harder to accept, and the less people tend to forgive and forget.
Well, I can imagine actually that one not only would get the crowd going, but I mean that's like the opposite of the first track you did for us, which was all about love, and this one's all about lies and deceit. And
Yeah.
I mean, who can't relate to something like that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, maybe the love of a baby, not everyone can quite relate to that,
well,
but then
there
they
is
can
that,
relate it to the love of their life anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
So you obviously just explore whatever emotions you want to at the time. And
Yeah, I sort of pride myself on being able to write in a way where it doesn't matter what the content of the song is, it's always relatable. I like to be able to tell a story, but leave some of it open to so that you might listen to one of my tracks and it might mean something really, solid to me, but to you it means something completely different, but we both relate to the song equally. And I really think that that's important for music to do. That's what a lot of the music that I love does for me. So that's something I really try to put forward in my music.
do you ever, like you said, you wanted feedback on the new direction and that, and I'm sure that you get many people telling you what your songs mean to them.
Yeah.
Does that actually prevent you from wanting to tell people what the song means to you because you want to just let them find themselves in it?
Definitely. I must say, when Buck Jr. started, there was a lot of songs that really meant something to me. And when I would play my shows, I would introduce those songs and I would tell the audience exactly what that song meant to me. And just after playing and playing and playing, I started realizing that the less that I put forward of my emotions and my attachment to a song, the more I had people come up to me after a gig and say, oh, that song really struck a chord with me, or that song is really relevant to where I'm at in my life or something that's happened to me recently. So I really do like to hear how people have connected with one of my songs or with something that we've done. So yeah,
that's awesome, and I can really understand that. I mean, it can be a bit annoying as an interviewer sometimes, but no, I get where it's coming from.
For sure.
Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Singing to me and telling us about Buck Jr. And I will once again, it's Buck Jr. JR, not the word Junior. And you are facebook.com/Buck Jr. Sound. Google Buck Jr. I suppose you've got some links there. You've got your Bandcamp link on the front of your
the Facebook page. Yeah.
And you've got your Triple J and your Reverb where you are updating you are going to update the gigs when
very soon.
When
As
you're
soon as we've got
announcing
some solid dates finalised for the next few months, we will be doing a push for our Victorian dates, and then we'll be booking some interstate gigs as well. So that'll be the second push of the tour.
Yeah. And if people go and give you a like on Facebook, Buck Junior Sound, then they can actually keep up with when you're coming to their town.
Absolutely. Or follow us on Twitter. All of the gig updates and announcements are always promoted on Twitter. So we're pretty active on there. And we're on Instagram, pretty active on there as well.
And people have got to keep an eye out for the new name, for the branding of the band.
Yeah, that'll be to come. Watch this space.
I hope it's not too painful.
Yeah, thanks. Me neither.
And you are listening to Collision, and I, of course, will be continuing. What song of yours should we leave people with?
Ooh, I think that a good song to finish on will be Too Soon from our Come Around album.
It's too soon for you to leave
That's right.
But I'm sure you'll be back one day.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
You'll have to tell us when you get booked in at the Queenscliff Music Festival.
Yeah. And the rest of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Exciting year ahead of you.
Yeah, for
sure. The new band and the new sound and the new branding and everything.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
And all the festivals you're going to play.
Very exciting.
Thanks so much. You're on Voice FM Collision, and this is Buck Junior and Come Around.